You pick that up, one of these sets, and you look at that, and boy, that'd be nice sliced and eat. Or if you think, yeah, I don't want that, I'm gonna have to slice part of it off. Hey, toss it. If we're talking about storing stuff, just toss it. These are Egyptian walking onions that we've had in the greenhouse drying. We're going to try to manicure these just a little bit and see if we can't get them in a bag to try to store them over winter. These big stalks and stuff, we'll just pop them off, pop them roots off. And just like, you know, you want to leave as much as that as you can. Check your onions, make sure they're good and firm. You want to make sure they're good and firm. This has got that root or stalk that goes down. And I'll emphasize again, these onions, where they send that stalk up, this stalk that puts the little top sets on will run down. They'll run down here into this set. Probably wouldn't hurt a thing to leave it, but I don't like leaving it because it's just a big juicy stalk that's hard to dry. So I just pop that out of there. Just break that off, get that out of there. And those excess leaves that actually cover it, take them off. And trim the roots off. And we're talking about trimming the roots, not cutting the whole root thing off. And then you'll come out with a pretty decent looking little set here. See, like that. Now here's one that's got 3, I think, in it. And you can see this stalk that runs up that puts on the top sets. Just break them off gently. Just break them off. Get that out of there and rip all that old excess paper off. And then what we can do is we will trim them roots, snip them roots off, and you've got a good little set right there. You want to keep these dry, by the way. If I can keep them in my hands this morning. Just like I say, I mean, you'll have a big bulb like that, and you'll think, boy, that's a dandy. Well, you're going to have to remove some of that paper. See, I can already smell that one. And if I can smell it, see, that's it. That's 2. But there's that stem. That's what you're after, big juicy stem. That'll cause you more trouble than anything when you're trying to store these. And that's why usually what I would do, I would take that, I'd cut these apart. I just wanted to try in the greenhouse to see how they'd dry, and they done all right. But I'd still much rather take these apart. And see, that's got some, where that stem went down, it's got some slimy peeling on it there. Just a little slimy. I'm not going to save that. I'm not going to put that in there because we're trying to save these, and if there's anything that jeopardizes that. We don't want to contend with that. If it jeopardizes our storage, we're not going to put it in there at all. Now, I told you in a previous video that you'd be surprised how I store these. This ain't it. This ain't the way I store them, but we're going to do this anyway. Because I know there's going to be a lot of people that are curious about how this is going to work out. And we're going to find out for sure. That's why I didn't harvest a whole bunch. This is not the way I store them all the time. But I can tell you right now, when you store these onions is going to have to be in a well-ventilated, cool area. And probably what I'll do with these is store these maybe in the refrigerator. I don't know. We want to make these onions think that they are completely dormant. I know the best way to store these is if your climate is suitable. In other words, if it don't get extremely cold, and even if it does, there's a thing called mulch. You've got to mulch these pretty thick if you leave them in the ground. But the best way to do these, see, that's got a bad spot in it. It's a little soft right there, so that we're not going to save it. That's as simple as that, ain't it? If they've got any bit of mushiness or softness to them, you don't want to try to save them. I can tell you right now. And that's, of course, the way with any onion. Any onion would be the same way. Now, this onion has got that stalk in there, I think. And to something else too. I let these onions stay in there a little too long. But yeah, that's got that stalk runs down it. It's a little soft in there. We could try to save that, but I'm not going to save it. Not going to do it. When you see something that's already looks like it's already creating problems, you sure don't want to try to save that onion. That one's another one. I can feel the softness in that. Look at that. See that slime? That's stalk right there. We're not saving it. It's as simple as that. You've got to discard them. Discard them. We want something solid. We want a solid, firm head here. A solid, firm head. That's what we're after. This one looks all right, but it's a little corky. Don't want it. We want something solid. You pick that up, one of these sets, and you look at that, and boy, that'd be nice sliced and eat. Or if you think, yeah, I don't want that, I'm gonna have to slice part of it off. Hey, toss it. If we're talking about storing stuff, just toss it. That there's a little spongy. Seems like the ones that are close to that stalk, that's spongy. No good. This one seems okay. I'm not saving it because it came out of off of one that all of them was bad. And it's like I say, if they're spongy or corky feeling, I can tell you right now, we don't want that trait in our onions. We don't want that trait. We want traits that'll store, so we save the ones that's dried well here and doing good. There's not, it's like I say, I didn't save a lot. But I just saved enough to show you this right here. Most of my onions are still in the garden. Right by that stalk is where the problem lies. So that's why when you see me pulling these, when I start processing them and getting ready to dry them and store them, I always, that comes out. Get that away from your onion. Look at the dried onion. See, that onion's dry, papery, and look what this big green stalk right beside it laying there, holding all that moisture and all that juice. That's contradictory to what you're trying to do here. Something, you're trying to dry something, but yet something's sitting there holding moisture. Not sensible, is it? So we get rid of it. See here, see, look here, what I'm talking about. See this? You've got your onion, 1, 2, 3, and then that big green, this big green stalk right there in the middle of them holding all that moisture. Just like I said, what I do initially, I don't allow that to be there. Now that one's trying to sprout. That one's trying to do exactly what we're trying to prevent it from doing. Now if these are done properly, these will store up to probably a year. That's right where that stalk was at. Slimy, spongy, corky. We're not having it now, are we? What we're after is a solid, firm bulb. But they've done well in the greenhouse there drying, and I'm telling you, it gets reason, you know, it gets too hot in there. But now it gets hot enough, it'll dry them, and that's what we're trying to do. You don't have to have a greenhouse to dry these onions. I can tell you right now, good airflow is the best thing. Shade and airflow. You don't want these directly in the sun. Now here's another big green stalk running down. It may or may not have damaged this bulb, but you can see here what I'm saying. You can see that. So let's just break that out and then check these. These feels good. I think these is fine. But that's the culprit that can send your sets into tragedy. And these will go ahead and cure. right along, you know. Now here's one that the stalk actually dried up. And of course the onions sets here survived it. Look at that and see, it's already trying to grow more onions out there. I just snipped that off right there. That's a big onion too. The bigger the onion, a lot of times naturally the longer it takes to dry out. Yeah, there's one that's right by the stalk. It's got a bulb there. It's decomposing the bulb. See there, slime. Got a funky smell to it. I'm not saving it. Now the ones that I'm tossing away here, if you're doing what I'm doing here, and if you go through this problem, and run across those like that feels a little bit slimy on the outside, and I'm just tossing them. Those bulbs could be took straight right now and planted in the ground, and they'll survive. They'll grow. 99% of them will. So it ain't like that you're losing them if you've got a place and want to go ahead and put them in the ground. Now here's a big slimer. Stinks too. Right beside this other one, and it's slimy. See there, slimy? I mean, I could wash that off and save that, or plant that, and that'll grow. I'm not in the mood to do that today. If I didn't have an abundance of these, and if I was trying to get these started, believe me, that would be saved. This is a good bulb, except right here, it's got a soft spot in it. Let's see what we can do here. We're not going to do nothing. We're going to get rid of it. If you can smell that, it's got that unique onion funk smell to it, like a bad onion. Go ahead and plant it or dispose of it. Don't try to store it. Do not try to store it. Yeah, there's another. It's soft right there in that one spot. Now I'm going to say what most of that is where I left it in that greenhouse too long. It's too hot. I've seen it 105 degrees, 110 degrees in there. That is not good. Right here is your culprit, causing 90% of that. Is that big seed stalk, or whatever you want to call it there. Now I was going to take these today after I get done trimming them and put them in the refrigerator. But some of these is not all the way where they should be. I mean, they need to dry a little more, and by getting all this extra paper and stuff off of these onion sets will be much better for that onion to dry out, you know. Yes, sir. I'm about done here. I know it's time consuming. There's a big stalk. See, it lies right by that onion. Fortunately, it didn't hurt that one. Slimy, right by that, where that stalk went in, right there. Let me wash this crud off my hand. That slimy stuff, I don't like spreading it to the next one. Again, what I usually do when I'm drying these, I take a bunch of these and I take them apart. Get all that off and trim that off. Put them in I've got a skidster, a dingo skidster, mini skidster like. I put them in the bucket and then I'll go out there every day or two and rotate them, turn them. They dry well right there. And it's more airflow too, by the way. More airflow under that carport. Now that's the tops of one. And there's no reason, they're pretty good sized ones. There's no reason you can't save them and dry them too, right with these. Especially the biggest ones. And that's got that. Now, let's clean our mess up just a little here. Okay. Now, what we'll do is we'll take these onions and we will put these in this bag. You can see these onions here. We'll put them onions sets in the bag here. Now this, let me tell you, this right here that I just done is enough onions. You wanted more than this, other than storing them for starch. And let me rinse this out while I'm thinking about it. Now you can see here, pretty good start of onions. Now that's the onions that I put, what I went through and decided that is the ones that we want to save, that's suitable for storage. Now, just like I said, I was going to take them and put them in the refrigerator where it's cool. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these and put under the carport with my garlic. I've got garlic sitting out there too right now. And I'll set these right beside it. Lay them flat where they can go ahead and dry in this bag. And then I'll give them, I'm going to give them a week probably. Then I'll check them. And I'll take those onions in this bag. And I'll try my best to find a spot in the refrigerator to kind of tuck them back in the back. And you don't want them to freeze, but you want them to stay, 35 to 50 degrees, somewhere in that vicinity, and out of light, and those onions should store just fine. Now these are the ones that I'm going to store. I usually don't store my onions like this. What I do is I take them right out there and I put them onions in that bucket after I pull all them up, go through and clean all them out, pull all them seed stalks. I'll call it a seed stalk, a set stalk, the part that runs up that falls over with your little top sets on it, that reason they call them Egyptian walking onions. Anyway, and I dry them out there. And then once they get dry and suitable, I'll go through and manicure them up just like I done these. And most of the time you won't have the problem that we've had right here because they've been in that hot, humid, low airflow greenhouse. And that's why you've seen me throw so many of them away here. These would be fine to go right now and plant, or pull all that off and wash them and lay them out and let them re-dry. It'd probably be fine. I'm not doing that. I don't need to do, I've got too many to contend with. The best place is in a shaded area with airflow. Airflow in a shaded area. And if you've got a bunch of them together, move them. Move them around every day or two. Move them around. Rotate them. They'll dry. And then what I do is I go through and I select the ones I want to plant and select the ones that I'm going to ship. And we get that took care of, and then I replant. Last year, the reason I go through and dig these up, number one, I want to get this real careful right here, what I'm fixing to tell you. Listen careful. The reason I go through every year, I didn't last year. I wish I had it, but I didn't. The reason I go through and pull all them up, and then what I do is that sometimes that very day or the next day, I'll plant me a row back. A single row, spaced out about 3 foot apart, 2.5 to 3 foot apart. One of these bulbs. And that's, you'll have more onions right there than you possibly think about. But now if you've got a small area and you're wanting to plant you some of these Egyptian walking onions, like in a bed, you don't have to dig them up every year. You don't have to worry about getting them through winter. If it's extremely cold, you want to mulch it, mulch the dickens out of it, mulch it deep right before the winter sets in. That will hold them onions probably as good as anything that you'll find to hold them. And if you want an onion in the wintertime, if it ain't extremely bad, move that mulch back and get you an onion or two. Because you're not going to have a green part, you just have the head. As far as I'm concerned, the main reason for growing these, for me, is the green parts. That's what I like the best. But you can, it's like I say, you can leave them in the ground. You can leave them there indefinitely if you wanted to, but they'll multiply and multiply and multiply, and after a while they start choking each other out. Get them out of there, get them out, clean your bed up good, and replant them back. Always hold your reserve back like these or some top sets in case something happens. In case something, you've got that reserve without rebuying these again. There's no reason that you can't start these Egyptian walking onions. You get a start of them. If you stop and think of what you're doing, there's no reason that you'd ever have to buy any more or ever run out of onions. I mean, they're prolific. But I just wanted to show you what I'm doing. I said I was going to try to hold these through the winter, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. But someone asked me not long ago, they said they was fixing to dig their onions up and wanted to know what I'd done the next step into saving them. Well, you just drying them, number one. I'd go back and look through some videos on the Egyptian walking onions that I've done. You'll see me manicuring them and taking them apart. Should all be there. I can't tell you exactly which video, but search them. They're out, and you watch them, and you'll see what I do. And that's the simplest, easiest way I've found. But just pull your onions up if you want to pull them up. Here's what I'd recommend. I'd recommend this right here. If you've got onions, a row of them or whatever, and they've been there a while and you've not done anything, pull them up, every one of them, pull them up out of the ground, shake them off, pull them up. You can lay them on the ground there, and if you don't want to fool with them that day, and if it ain't raining, if it's nice weather, let the sun start sucking some of that moisture out. And go ahead and pull them sets out of there and get that stalk out. Get this stalk right here out. This stalk here. This stalk that runs down in between your bulbs sitting here. This is the one that breaks over and falls over with the top sets on it. Don't leave that in there, because it will rot more onions for you in these Egyptian walking onions than anything that I've discovered is this right here, by leaving that in there. That's a big, juicy, thick stalk. It holds that moisture. Holds that moisture right there beside those bulbs that you don't want. You're trying to dry them, so you don't want that there. You want that out of there. So get that, break them apart and get that out of there. And if it runs down, it looks like a pretty bulb and think, well, that runs down in the, no, it runs down beside that bulb. Grab it and rip that out of there. And you'll find out what I'm talking about. Get rid of that, and you'll have a bigger success rate, larger success rate in saving your onions. Get that out. Because once them starts deteriorating, get that funky rotten onion smell to it, that is a problem. It's already started. So you could take them and take all that peeling off and scrub them, wash them real good and lay them out and let them dry. Save them. But if you've got any amount of these Egyptian walking onions at all, you've got more onions and you won't even want to fool with that stuff. It's like I toss them. I'm not fooling with them because I've got more than I can possibly need. And that's the point of it, is to have an abundance of these, and you will have. Believe me, you will. But anyway, that's what I do, and then I lay them in that bucket. I've hung them up. You can hang them up. I don't like hanging them up because when you hang them up, you're grouping all of that tops together, and you're leaving that stalk right there in there. And you hang it up, it takes a lot longer to dry. You can snip that off, give it about 2 or 3 inches on top of that bulb, couple inches above the bulb, about 2 inches. Don't get into the bulb and cut it, but up here, and it's ready. Trim them. I don't trim the roots, actually. I leave those roots on, and I don't know. My way of thinking on that is if it can take moisture up through those roots, and it can suck moisture back out, but I don't know if it does or not. But I leave the roots when I don't take them off initially. I do that when I'm manicuring them and cleaning them up, getting ready to ship them, and of course naturally, Even when I plant my own, I'll cut them roots off because them's dead. It has to grow more roots. Those big roots hanging out there that you think, oh, I don't want to cut them roots off. Them roots are dead. They're not coming back. Go ahead and trim them. Trim them up close to the onion, but not into the onion. And because it'll grow new roots. Then what I do is I replant me a row. And my goodness, if you take you take 2 dozen of these, 24 of these right here, and plant them across this garden at 3-foot intervals, you'll have all the onions by the next season when it's time to do this again than you possibly would need, unless you eat a lot of onions. The reason I don't try to winter these onions here, there's a reason that I don't overwinter these onions, is because I grow other onions. Now, I don't know what area you all live in, everywhere, all over. I've discovered this year in my area here that the yellow yellow granix onion is the onion I like, because let me tell you, they make onions. Now, they're a short day onion. They're the onion, again, I'll say it again, they're the onion among probably a couple more different varieties, I don't know that. They are the onion they use to plant in the fields in Vidalia, Georgia, to make them good, sweet Vidalias. And believe me, the ones I growed here is like sugar. They're good. And I growed them and some white something. I can't even remember what they were now. All these different names of all this stuff runs together. White something. But they're a little bit stronger. Anyway, let's forget them. We're talking about Egyptian walking onions. I've got videos of planting these onions that I've already done. Several of them. Planting the Egyptian walking onions, pulling them up, harvesting them, tying them up, cutting them apart, manicuring them, getting ready to ship them, the whole shebang. And there's nothing really complicated about this. Always remember to not put all your eggs in one basket. If you've got just a limited amount of these onions and you're afraid of losing them, pull your onions up, take them apart like I've showed you, trim them, dry them, but that very day, if you're going to keep those onions in that same row, go ahead and rake that row off and clean that row off and plant you another onion 2.5 to 3 foot deep. Pick your good ones, big ones. It don't have to be big ones. Everybody thinks the big ones, naturally they start with bigger. It's not necessary, is what I'm telling you. An onion the size of a quarter will do just as good as an onion that's 2.5, 3 inches across. They're all oriented to divide. That's what they do. Divide, 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 divide. I took one time and I split that onion. I took it apart and I had 2. And I laid it over here and then took the other half and I split it again and wound up with 2. 2. Kept going. It go every time. It just multiplied. I got down to where I was having to take an X-Acto knife to split them with. They were so little, and it just, that's what they're designed to do, split, split, split. You take one onion, it splits into 2. Well, inside those 2 right off the bat is 2 more. And inside of all them is 2 more. And I mean, it just split, 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 it just multiplies. Not to mention, they put top sets all the way up and they'll drop them top sets and multiply like that too. So the only thing they know to do is split and multiply. They do it well. So I'm going to take these over there and lay them out and give these about a week, and then I'll take these and I'll put these preferably in an onion sack or a paper bag, not a plastic bag. Forget the plastic. Do not put no onion in a plastic bag. paper bag where they can get rid of that moisture. They can breathe. They've got to breathe. If they don't, they're going to rot. I can tell you right now. Put them in a plastic bag, you're killing them. They're going to go bad on you. But anyway, that's all I wanted to show you today. It's just I need to get them out there. I should have done it a week ago, or 2 weeks, I guess. But we've got them out now, and I'll take them over there and lay them out with my garlic. Got it curing. Won't be long till I'll take it apart into the bulbs. All my garlic was completely volunteer this year. I didn't plant no garlic last year. I had big ideas and big plans. Planting garlic, didn't do it. And there's a reason why I didn't do it, because I've got, I'll show you here in a day or two, I've got bags and bags in there that just drying up. It don't last forever. You know, if you can get one season to the other with it, you've done well. So let's take these onions and we'll go over here and lay them out. And that's a pretty good sized little bag of Egyptian walking onions, good sets. They're dry, but they need to dry just a little bit more now that I've got them took apart. Again, this is the sets we got that we're going to dry. Some of them's pretty good size and some of them's a little smaller. I'm trying to find little ones. That's a little one, but they're pretty good sized bulbs. And by the way, there's one, see, look here, that I missed that one. Look, pull that apart. Look here. Can you see that? See there? Pull that out of there. They're easy to miss, but you think, well, that's part of the onion. No, that's that stalk that you don't want in there. Get that off of there. Yes, sir. I'm gonna take these and dry them off. I'll have another video on these Egyptian walking onions when I get ready to do whatever, but I can't do it right now because I let watermelons and cantaloupes run over the top of my Egyptian walking onions like a dummy, like I did last year. I'm building another garden right down here in front of the house, around the curb on the other side of the fence. You'll see it in future videos. Got bunches of wood chips already dumped in there. I just got to level them down before winter. And what I'm going to do with that, maybe not next year, but you know, in the following years, give it time to decompose good over the winter, and maybe for another year, I'll plant my vining stuff, sweet potatoes, stuff like that, cucumber, everything that runs down there. And I won't have a hired over garden like this, hopefully. You never know. Anyway, that'll be it today. I'll see you on the next video. Let me go dry these.